Hello again and welcome to another episode of the T-Files, episode 28. Today I am answering some questions you guys have had about asking me questions. Whatever. So I'm going to be answering them today. I'm going to have an acoustic guitar set up in acoustic amp to demonstrate what I speak of. Okay, so the four most common questions I've been asked about in specifically acoustics is what is acoustic resonation, anti-feedback and what is feedback, harmonics, and intonation. I'm not talking Greek, this is actually real stuff. Okay, so firstly, resonation. Okay, resonation is basically a vibration that is created by a hollow substance such as a guitar, wood. Okay, so what you'll hear is a sustained note when I pluck this string. Okay, it can go on forever and ever, but that is a resonation. So by plucking the string I'm creating a vibration through the bridge, through the top, creating the top to actually vibrate. So if I did that and held the guitar, you would actually feel the vibration. So that vibration is actually coming out in an audio. Right? That's resonation. So being a hollow body, you could hear it a lot more. On a solid body, you don't really hear it unless you're using electric pickups and stuff like that. So that is acoustic resonation. Alright. Feedback and anti-feedback is basically a loop. So if I pluck this string and I had an amp in front of me, I'm not going to demonstrate it because it's a terrible noise, but it's basically a squelching noise, like a woo or a very low bassy kind of shuddering sound. What it actually is literally just the guitar getting picked up through the amp coming into the sound hole, creating a loop, an infinite loop. So that's why it's just like a delay on steroids. So if you've ever experimented with a delay pedal and you just hear this because it's just too much, that's a feedback. Okay. How to get rid of it is simple features like on your acoustic guitar you'll actually have a pickup. I don't know if you can see that. There's a little dude over there. Now sometimes you can just actually get rid of it by turning down your treble and your bass, because if I push my bass up here now and I plucked it and put it in front of the amp, that noise, that is feedback. Now by turning my bass down and doing the same thing, goes away. So that's one option, is just to tweak your acoustic preamp or your floor preamp, whatever you're using, by just turning the bass or the treble down a bit. Otherwise you're going to get this infinite loop coming through your mix. That's one option. The other option is if you go down to your local music shop, won't mention any names, you can always get something called a sound block or a feedback buster or a sound hole block. There's many names for it, but feedback buster is the most common. Okay, so it's basically a little rubber oak. Okay, you can bend them. It's not an ashtray. A lot of people use it as an ashtray. Don't do that. Okay, it's an expensive ashtray. But as you can see, it's in the shape of a sound hole. How awesome, right? So what you normally do is you have to kind of loosen the strings and slide that sucker underneath. I know I'm being very naughty right now, I'm not loosening the strings. And it just squeezes in the hole. Like so. Bear with me. As you can see there, it's in snugly. Alright. So it actually doesn't change the sound of your guitar at all. It just prevents the sound of the amp creating a loop through the sound hole. So now if I turn my bass up here and pluck that string, put it in front of the amp, feedback gone. How awesome is that, right? Okay, so that's two ways of eliminating feedback and how to explain it and understand it. Sometimes you'll have a little button on the amp that also has anti-feedback. All it's really doing is just creating your EQ to be not so harsh to create that loop. Okay, anti-feedback, gents and ladies. Now, the other thing is intonation. Alright, so what a lot of people have asked me is what's wrong with a guitar? Because they look at the saddle. Yes, I know it's a saddle. There's no horses here, but this is a guitar. That little white oak over there. Yes, I use oak. I'm South African, okay? Alright? So that little dude over there, that's called the saddle. Now, if you look very carefully, you done? Alright. That is actually at a slant. Or it's skew. Now, there's actually a reason for it. And the reason why is... how can I explain this? Tension. Alright, so if you take your top E string, right? It's thicker, therefore it's looser tension. The bottom E string, or thin E string, is tighter, therefore higher tension. So what that basically means is it creates a different tension along the neck as well. So, if I pluck the E string, right, and I go up the fretboard, I should get to my first scale. Now that, if you look at any fretboard, you'll have two little dots on the very top of your fretboard. Sometimes professional ones don't have it. I'll show you there very quickly. Okay, whether you saw that, I don't know. But that's where your 12th fret joint is. Okay, so if you count your frets, this is like maths. Count with me now. 1, 2, 3. Okay, you get the idea. So on your 12th fret, that is basically halfway point from your neck nut to your saddle. Right? Makes sense. Okay. So therefore, that'll be an E, and that'll be an E. Now, if that bridge was perfectly straight, like it is in a classical, which we'll get into now, then your intonation would be out. And the reason for that is, as I explained earlier, tension. So the lower the tension, the further back the saddle must be. The higher the tension, the further forward the saddle must be. So remember, top string, less tension, bottom string, more tension. That is why we have to move the saddle skew. Okay, so next time you see an acoustic guitar and you were wondering why, now you know. Okay, so, and then 12th fret is always going to be your intonation. What did you just hear now? Moving on to the next answer. Harmonics. What are they? Okay, so you get something called pitch harmonics, which a lot of electrical guitarists will use, and folk singers and guitarists, they'll also use it. But to explain it in a little bit more detail, on your 5th fret, right, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, what I'm going to do is something very interesting, okay? I'm not going to actually push down on the fret. I'm literally just going to touch the strings. Did you hear that? Okay, so that's 5th fret. 7th fret, the same. That's incredible. Wow. You're blowing my mind, Jared. Oh my god. Okay, you get the idea. And the same thing on your 12th fret. Okay, harmonics. Now, what that basically means is wherever your scale is on your guitar, you can actually physically hold your finger over the strings, creating a harmonic, all dependent on the scale length of the string. So, in so saying, on your 5th fret, 7th fret and 12th fret, you can get amazing harmonics. You can get some further up as well, I think it's on the 15th fret. Still new to this, please bear with me. 16th fret, sorry. There you go. So, harmonics. They're called pitch harmonics because it's a higher pitch. So you're basically going up the fretboard, creating a higher pitch. And they're harmonic sounds. They're not actually me going down on the fret. They're actually just... Okay. Does that make sense? Or shall I explain more? Anybody? No. Okay, so that is all the 4 features from acoustic resonation, feedback, intonation, and harmonics. Right. So, what I'm going to do in the next episode is vocal harmonics and vocal processes and all that kind of stuff that make your voice sound that much cooler. Okay. So, stick around and wait for the next episode. It's going to blow your mind. Until then, from me, the acoustic guitar, the amp, and the feedback blocker buster thing, jobby piece of rubber. Have a great one, and I'll see you again soon. Cheers.